The qualities we are about to discuss are not techniques, they are not tricks, they are ways of living. And when they become part of who you are, people feel it immediately, without a single word. Here are 5 things that make you instantly attractive, without saying a word. Number 1, live with purpose. One of the most attractive things about a person is purpose. Most people never stop long enough to ask themselves where their life is actually going, and because they never ask the question, they spend years reacting instead of leading, drifting instead of deciding, existing instead of building. And the painful truth is that many men wake up one day and realize they have spent their best years chasing attention, approval, distractions, comfort, entertainment, and the expectations of other people while quietly abandoning the goals that once made them excited to get out of bed. And that realization is heavy, because deep down you know when you are living below your potential. You know when you are avoiding the difficult path that would force you to grow. And you know when your life has become a series of reactions instead of a mission that you have consciously chosen. And this is exactly why purpose changes everything, because purpose gives meaning to sacrifice. Purpose gives direction to suffering. Purpose gives strength during setbacks. And purpose allows you to walk through life with a level of certainty that cannot be manufactured through motivational quotes or temporary confidence, because when you know what you are building, what you stand for, and what kind of man you are becoming, you stop wasting energy trying to prove yourself to people who have no influence over your future. You stop obsessing over who notices you and who does not. You stop making decisions based on short-term emotions, and you begin making decisions based on long-term outcomes. And people notice this shift immediately because purpose changes the way you carry yourself. It changes the way you speak. It changes what you tolerate. It changes how you spend your time. And it changes the standards you hold yourself to every single day. And while many people spend their lives searching for shortcuts, the purposeful man accepts that meaningful results require patience, discipline, consistency, and delayed gratification. He understands that growth often feels uncomfortable. He understands that valuable things take time. And he understands that nobody is coming to rescue him from the consequences of his own choices. So instead of complaining about circumstances, he focuses on what can be improved. Instead of blaming the world, he develops himself. Instead of waiting for motivation, he creates structure, and this mindset becomes attractive because it communicates strength without needing attention. And if you are currently feeling lost, directionless, frustrated, or disconnected from the person you want to become, the solution is not to chase more distractions. The solution is to sit with the uncomfortable questions you have been avoiding, to identify what truly matters to you, to define the values you want your life to represent, and then to take action every day whether you feel inspired or not, because purpose is not discovered in endless thinking. Purpose is strengthened through action, and every day you move towards something meaningful, you become more focused, more grounded, more disciplined, and more attractive, not because you are trying to impress anyone, but because your life is finally moving in a direction that deserves your full commitment. Number 2, control your emotions. Many people believe attractiveness comes from confidence. The reality is that confidence often grows from emotional control, because there is a major difference between someone who appears strong when everything is going well and someone who remains composed when life becomes difficult. And every man eventually faces moments that test him, moments when plans fail, when opportunities disappear, when someone disappoints him, when he is misunderstood, when his efforts go unnoticed, when he gives his best and still does not receive the outcome he wanted. And in those moments, his character is revealed, because emotional reactions are easy, but emotional discipline requires strength. And one of the greatest mistakes people make is allowing temporary emotions to dictate permanent decisions. They speak out of anger, they act out of frustration, They sabotage opportunities because their emotions take control of their judgment. And then they spend months dealing with consequences that could have been avoided if they had simply paused and thought clearly. And this is why emotional control is such a powerful advantage, because it allows you to remain effective when others become reactive. It allows you to think when others panic, and it allows you to maintain your standards when circumstances tempt you to abandon them. And many men know exactly what it feels like to carry disappointment in silence, to replay conversations in their minds, to question their value after setbacks, to wonder whether their efforts are enough. And while those emotions are real, they do not have to become your identity, because emotional control does not mean suppressing everything you experience. It means refusing to become a servant to every emotion that enters your mind. It means recognizing what you feel without allowing it to control what you do. And this creates a tremendous sense of inner freedom, because you stop being pushed around by moods, impulses, and external events. And instead, you become someone who acts according to principles rather than emotional swings. And the practical application of this is simple but challenging. When something upsets you, pause before responding. When disappointment arrives, focus on the next productive action. When frustration appears, direct that energy into growth rather than complaints. And when life becomes difficult, remind yourself that your response remains under your control, even when circumstances do not, because every moment of emotional discipline strengthens your character, every calm response increases your self-respect, and every situation you handle with maturity builds a level of confidence that cannot be taken away by the opinions or actions of other people. And over time, this composure becomes part of who you are, creating a quiet strength that others recognize immediately. Number 3. Set unshakable boundaries. Many people spend years trying to earn respect without realizing that respect begins with the standards they enforce in their own lives. One of the biggest reasons men become exhausted, resentful, and disconnected from themselves is because they continuously sacrifice their values, their time, and their priorities in order to avoid disappointing other people. And while this may seem noble at first, it often leads to frustration, because every time you ignore your own needs to gain approval, you send yourself a dangerous message that your time is less important than everyone else's. And eventually, you begin to wonder why people take advantage of you, why your efforts go unappreciated, and why you constantly feel drained despite doing so much for others. And the answer is often found in the boundaries you fail to establish, because boundaries are not walls designed to isolate you from people. They are standards that protect what matters most. They protect your time, your energy, your focus, your values, and your future. And without them, life becomes a constant series of interruptions created by the demands, expectations, and agendas of other people. And many men know exactly what it feels like to say yes when they want to say no, to tolerate behavior they know is unacceptable, to remain silent when they should speak, and to compromise their principles simply to keep the peace. But every time this happens, something important is lost, because self-respect grows when your actions align with your standards, and self-respect weakens when you repeatedly abandon yourself. And this is why strong boundaries are attractive, because they communicate clarity, they communicate confidence, and they communicate that you understand the value of your own life. And contrary to what many believe, boundaries do not push healthy people away. They actually improve relationships, because they create honesty, consistency, and mutual respect. And applying this principle begins with identifying what you will no longer tolerate, what behaviors violate your values, what habits are damaging your future, and what distractions are preventing you from becoming the man you know you can be. And once those standards are clear, you must have the courage to enforce them consistently, even when it feels uncomfortable, because boundaries without action are merely preferences, and preferences rarely change anything. But standards backed by action transform lives, and the moment you stop negotiating with your deepest values, the moment you stop abandoning your priorities for temporary approval, and the moment you begin protecting your time and energy with intention, you develop a stronger sense of identity, greater self-respect, and a level of personal authority that influences every area of your life. And if you are realizing just how much your life could change by strengthening your standards, protecting your time, and understanding the timeless principles that create genuine self-respect. The Stoic Relationship. Blueprint ebook for men is linked in the comments below, and it is now available in audiobook format, so you can absorb this life-changing wisdom while driving, exercising, jogging, working, or going about your day, knowing that once you own it, this knowledge is yours forever, ready to guide you whenever life tests your discipline, confidence, boundaries, or relationships. And because so many men have asked for a deeper transformation, the Stoic Relationship Blueprint course for men is launching in the coming weeks. So if you want early access, exclusive updates, and the opportunity to build the strongest version of yourself before everyone else, comment Blueprint. Number 4. Be comfortable with discomfort. One of the clearest signs of strength is the ability to remain steady when life becomes uncomfortable. Comfort is seductive because it asks nothing from you except surrender. It encourages you to stay where you are, to avoid difficult conversations, to postpone important decisions, to tolerate situations that slowly drain your spirit, and to convince yourself that someday things will somehow improve on their own. Yet, deep down, you already know that the life you want is rarely found in the places where you feel safest. And this is exactly why discomfort becomes such a powerful advantage, because every meaningful transformation begins with a willingness to face what others spend their lives avoiding, whether that is loneliness, uncertainty, discipline, accountability, sacrifice, or the painful truth about your current circumstances. And there comes a point when a man has to stop asking why life is difficult and start asking what difficulty is trying to teach him, because challenges reveal weaknesses that comfort keeps hidden. They expose habits that need to change. They expose excuses that no longer serve you, and they force you to confront realities that are easy to ignore when everything feels easy. And nowhere is this more obvious than in relationships, because countless men spend years compromising themselves in exchange for temporary attention, overlooking obvious warning signs, abandoning their standards, and accepting treatment they know they should never tolerate simply because they are afraid of being alone, and that fear quietly controls their decisions. But the uncomfortable truth is that loneliness rarely damages a man as much as betraying himself does, because every time you ignore your instincts, every time you sacrifice your values for approval, every time she demonstrates through her actions that she does not respect your boundaries, and you continue rewarding the behavior, you teach yourself that your standards are negotiable, and once that pattern begins, it spreads into every area of life, affecting your confidence, your purpose, your self-respect, and your future. And this is why becoming comfortable with discomfort is not simply about enduring hardship. It is about developing the courage to choose long-term growth over short-term relief. It is about understanding that discipline often feels unpleasant in the moment, but rewarding in the future, while comfort often feels rewarding in the moment, but painful in the future. And this principle applies to every part of life, whether it is waking up earlier, improving your health, developing new skills, building a business, ending unhealthy relationships, speaking the truth, or taking responsibility for mistakes, because every meaningful improvement requires you to walk directly into discomfort instead of away from it. And the remarkable thing is that once you begin doing this consistently, discomfort starts losing its power over you. Situations that once intimidated you become manageable. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming become opportunities for growth, and obstacles that once stopped you become stepping stones that move you forward. And this creates a level of resilience that people immediately notice, because while others are constantly seeking convenience, you become someone who is willing to do what is necessary regardless of how it feels. And there is something deeply attractive about that, because people instinctively recognize strength when they see it. They recognize discipline, they recognize courage, and they recognize someone who refuses to allow temporary discomfort to dictate the direction of their life. And if you are currently facing a difficult season, if you are carrying disappointments, frustrations, setbacks, or uncertainty, understand that these experiences do not have to become permanent labels attached to your identity. They can become the very experiences that build the version of yourself you have been trying to become, but only if you stop running from them and start learning from them, because growth begins the moment you stop asking how to avoid discomfort and start asking how discomfort can strengthen your character, sharpen your focus, and prepare you for responsibilities that require a stronger version of yourself. And when you embrace that mindset, your entire life begins to change, because you no longer view hardship as an enemy. You view it as training, and training always produces results when approached with consistency, patience, and determination. Number 5. Stay true to your values. Nothing reveals a person's character more clearly than what they do when nobody is watching. Standards sound impressive when spoken aloud. Values sound admirable during conversations, and principles sound noble when circumstances are easy. But true integrity appears when following those values costs something, when maintaining those standards becomes inconvenient, and when doing the right thing requires sacrifice instead of applause, because it is easy to claim you stand for something when there is no pressure to compromise. Yet the real test arrives when opportunities, relationships, emotions, or social expectations tempt you to abandon what you know is right. And this is where countless people lose themselves, because they slowly trade authenticity for acceptance. They adjust their personalities depending on who is present. They silence convictions that make others uncomfortable, and they reshape themselves to fit environments that were never meant for them. And over time, they become strangers to their own values, wondering why they feel disconnected despite receiving approval from others. And this is especially important for men, because there is enormous pressure to seek validation from people whose opinions should never determine your worth. And that pressure often becomes strongest when dealing with women, because attraction can easily cloud judgment, causing a man to ignore standards he would normally enforce, tolerate behaviors he would normally challenge, and overlook patterns he would normally recognize. And while it may be tempting to justify these compromises, the consequences eventually become impossible to ignore. Because every time you betray your values to gain someone's attention, you lose a small piece of the self-respect that makes you attractive in the first place. And this creates a dangerous cycle where the more approval you seek, the less grounded you become, and the less grounded you become, the more approval you seek. Yet the solution is remarkably simple, even though it is not easy. And that solution is deciding once and for all that your values are not for sale, your principles are not negotiable, and your identity will not be determined by the changing opinions of other people. Because the strongest position you can occupy in life is knowing exactly who you are and refusing to abandon that person regardless of external pressure. And this does not mean becoming rigid, arrogant, or unwilling to learn. It means developing a clear understanding of what matters most and allowing those principles to guide your decisions consistently, whether anyone notices or not. And this consistency becomes one of the most attractive qualities a person can possess, because it creates trust, reliability, and authenticity, qualities that cannot be imitated for long, because eventually actions expose reality, and people may not always agree with you. They may not always understand your choices, and some may even criticize the path you take. But none of those things matter as much as maintaining alignment between your values and your actions, because every time you honor your principles, you strengthen your character. Every time you choose integrity over convenience, you reinforce your self-respect, and every time you remain true to yourself despite pressure to conform, you build an inner foundation that cannot be shaken by circumstances. And perhaps the most liberating realization of all is understanding that you do not need everyone to approve of your choices. You do not need universal acceptance, and you do not need constant validation to know your value, because your value is not created by the attention you receive. It is created by the character you build. And when your life becomes rooted in principles rather than approval, you stop chasing significance and start embodying it. And that transformation changes everything, because you begin making decisions from strength instead of insecurity, from clarity instead of confusion, and from conviction instead of fear. And when that happens, your presence communicates something powerful before you ever say a single word. The uncomfortable truth is that countless men spend years searching for answers, while the wisdom that could transform their lives, relationships, confidence, boundaries, and sense of purpose remains hidden in plain sight, which is why the Stoic relationship blueprint for men, filled with timeless principles that can change the way you see yourself and the world immediately, is linked in the comments and now available in audiobook format, so you can listen while driving, training, jogging, or going about your day. And if you are ready to stop drifting and start leading your life with clarity, comment, "I choose discipline." Like this video and subscribe to help more men discover these lessons before they lose years to confusion and regret. And if you want to go even deeper, I am currently building the Stoic Relationship Blueprint course from more than 2,000 years of time-tested Stoic wisdom designed to help you apply these principles in your life and relationships.